Meet the Bard, the 16th class of Realm of the Mad God. What does that mean? I am no longer a White Star. It has been almost 2 years since the release of a new class, which was the Samurai, and 6 years before that it was the Ninja. The Ninja was a glass cannon being super fast and shredding enemies with the katana and its high base DPS stats. The Samurai acted as a support class by lowering the defense of the enemies and was a more defensive option for a katana class. And now the Bard. What does this class have to offer? Let's find out. Right off the bat you can see that it's a bow class, with a robe. A really interesting combination. Like I've said before, it reminds me of a priest wielding a doom bow. It looks pretty cool. It reminds me of the Drake Hunter skin, but you're wearing a loose robe instead. And I love this turquoise color it's based on. That's about all I can describe about this 8x8 pixel character. I believe that's Tawa's specialty.
And when she attacks, she removes the umbrella, revealing her hair and a bit more of her outfit, effectively granting us 2 different perspectives on how the skin can be viewed.
What defines a class? Its stats, available equips, and especially its ability. Looking at the max stats, we have 670 HP and 385 MP, just like the robe classes. Unlike the other bow classes which have 75 attack and 50 dexterity, the Bard has 55 attack and 70 dexterity, which to my surprise is actually stronger than the Archer and Huntress in base stats. Crazy, right? I thought dexterity scaled worse, but the Bard is slightly stronger. Then again, leather classes have access to higher DPS equipment, so who knows? We'll go more in depth in another video. It has the usual 25 defense, a decent 55 speed, 45 vitality and 75 wisdom. The normal vitality cap is 40. I don't know what that extra 5 vitality is gonna do.
Why 5? Why not 10 or 15 or defense?
The 75 wisdom is nice to have to use your ability more for people with worse pets. It's a common trend with robe classes anyways. So it essentially has the stats of a robe class, but it wields a bow. Which clan does it belong to? Bow classes or robe classes? Let's check its ability, the Lute. For those of you who have never heard of what a Lute is, including me, and want me to translate the 8x8 sprite into a real thing, this is what a Lute is. That's right, they actually made the Lute from Realm of the Mad God into a real thing. What does it do? Use this ability and leeches will want to contribute to the dungeon straight away, now that they are inspired. Okay, in all seriousness, this party buff increases the range of the equipped weapon by 25%. Say we have this doom bow with 7 range. Now when you're inspired, the doom bow has 8.75 range, almost the range of 1s. It makes the 3.5 range of a tiered sword into almost 4.4 range, which is pretty much a crystal sword. This is a cool buff which allows the group to land their shots easier. I guess I was right that it motivates leeches to hit, because the melees who are too afraid to approach a scary boss will have more confidence with increased range. Does it affect odd firing weapons like the Bulwark or the Sword of Colossus? Yeah, that'll probably be more of a debuff than a buff. That's not the end of the ability, that was a tier 0 Lute. As soon as we hit tier 3, the Lute gives 4 defense to yourself upon using it, for a short period of time. Do note that this ability has a cooldown so it can't be spammed. Either way, that's a cool defensive buff and it also gives you a passive speed boost. As you progress past tier 3, you get more passive speed, longer buff duration on both the party inspire and self defense boost, and also a stronger defense boost. Looking at the tier 6 Lute, you get a solid 10 defense boost and a nice passive full speed. Combined with the 20 HP from a tier 6 ability, the Bard can get quite sturdy. Say you get a Bard with a tier 13 robe. This robe gives 13 defense. Use the tier 6 Lute and you get 23 defense. That's one off from the Acropolis armor. So this class is definitely not lacking in defenses. What about untiered abilities? Well, we begin with 3. I'll just slightly cover these and look into them deeper in my future item review videos. Anyways, first up we got the Snake Charmer Punji. This Lute trades off the inspired effect with a 4-second speedy, while also giving a large 7 speed boost, so it's a rushing item. The name gives a pretty obvious implication of where this item will drop, and yes, it'll be a white bag from the Snake Pit. Next up we got the Wavecrest Concertina. On use, you throw a parrot which deals area of effect damage for a certain duration. On top of that though, it has a passive effect, something quite different from the usual in this game. There is a 5% chance per shot you deal to spawn a fighting parrot that follows you. I can see some real cool synergies with bows that dish out more shots. Maybe the tiered bows will have a chance to shine with this item. It also gives a nice passive 4 attack and 4 dexterity. This is definitely the DPS Lute. Where can you get this item? Well, judging by the parrot, it drops from the Deadwater docks, from both the boss and the treasure room. Finally, we have the Pharaoh's Requiem. This ability has quite a bunch of things to discuss, but like I said, I'm not going too deep. That'll be for the item review. Basically, this is the first ability to apply consistent weak debuff on enemies. The weak debuff lowers the damage of enemy shots by 10%, so that's pretty helpful. You can also give yourself armored when taking over 50 damage. Along with the passive bonus of 4 defense and 4 vitality, this Lute is definitely the survivability Lute. And it drops from Nut in the Tomb of the Ancients. That's right, Nut's white bag is no longer 900 feet power in your eyes. It could possibly be this cool new Lute. That's all the technical stuff about Bard currently. So what actually is the Bard? It's a support class assisting the group with a range increase. For Robe class, its survivability is pretty decent with the defense boost the Lute gives. And it isn't lacking in DPS, it's really balanced. Maybe too balanced? Now for my thoughts on this class. I think it's a bit too balanced. Its specialty is increasing the range of the group. Is that really needed though? All this time no one really asked for more range during fights, and I never felt the need to use more range than what the bow class offers, even as a petless player. I did realize though that with this range increase, the shot speed increases too, so that's a factor. For now, I don't know if it's good or bad. During testing sessions before the Bard's release, this class used to give Energize to the party, which is basically increasing the mana regeneration of the group. Deca deemed this overpowered and removed it. I guess it was a wise option to do so, as combined with divine pets and strong abilities, things will blow up real fast. Like the underwhelming samurai, this class is a jack of all trades, master of none. Well, it's the master of range, but that doesn't really count. It has okay DPS and in my opinion underwhelming group utility. That kinda makes this class more of a Jeremy of all trades instead. I'm sorry to all the Jeremies who are watching this, you guys are still cool. I just said a bunch of negative stuff as my opinion on this class. Does that mean I dislike it? Well, as of now, definitely not. It has redeeming qualities which come from the untiered lutes. The untiered lutes have amazing design. They are all so different from each other and fill a good role perfectly. One to deal more damage, one to move faster, and one for survivability. What a trio. Now here comes the argument that untiered items shouldn't define a class's viability, but then we are reminded that bow classes pretty much strictly use untiered bows, and priest is unappealing without Puri or Prot. So yes, I do believe the untiered lutes definitely help this class out in terms of viability. Especially because they are easy to get. The Snake Pit, Deadwater Docks and the Tomb of the Ancients are all fairly accessible dungeons, which are also popular, so getting your hands on these wights shouldn't be too hard. So all in all, the Bard is a cool class. It looks great, it can support the group with the inspired buff, and it's ready for any situation with the untiered loot swap outs. And it's fun, especially with 70 dexterity and 1000 shot combined with Berserk. It seems a bit overbalanced to me though, but oh well, it's new. There may be tweaks in the future. I personally really want to get my hands on this loot and spawn my army of parrots. Thank you for watching, I hope you guys have a fun time giving this class a whirl. Now I'll be on to reclaiming my white star.